What's going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're going to be talking about everyone's favourite person, Ken Hinkley. It's been a big talking point throughout this whole year with the succession plan and everything culminating into what's been a disaster start of the first half of the year for Port Adelaide. Consider this a mid-season review as well, because we haven't done one, and I think a lot of people sort of have their own opinions and minds made up on the matter for Port Adelaide in 2025. So, is it time for Ken to go? This is the talking point. And I feel like we don't have a say in this. We've never had a say in Port Adelaide's coaching ranks or ability in the football department. We've never really had a sort of an impact in any sort of decision making process since Ken Koshy and even back when Keith Thomas was a CEO. We've never really had that enjoyment of any sort of impact on the football choices. And neither should we, to be honest. I think the fans have had their say multiple times, and it's never really the right decision to go against the fans. And I feel like there is a massive gap between Port Adelaide fans and Port Adelaide Football Club, and it's one that's been felt for a while. For me personally, I've always tried to be as positive as I could be in the moments that I've built up to this. Now we're sitting 4-7 in 2025. Some people called us top four credentials, home and away kings, and now we're sitting at 4-7. We've been pumped by 12 plus goals 3 times this year. We've just come off a 49-point loss to Fremantle, and there's no hope. There is no hope in Port Adelaide's game plan. There's no hope in Port Adelaide's fans and the faithful. There is no hope that anything of this could be any of substance to turn it around. There is no clear evidence to suggest that. And Tom Morris has come out this week and on Footy Classified a couple of days ago and stated that there is a very strong indication within Port Adelaide and in the inner walls right now that Ken Hinkley, when is said and done, when Port Adelaide are no longer in contention to play finals or make the eight or possibly win a grand final. I say that very loosely, by the way. Do not quote me on that because that is not what I believe. But what has been said is he could walk away. And right now, the question is, should Ken go now? Halfway through the year, you said, all right, we've given this a go. Enough's enough. And I think Port Adelaide are too protected on their brand and on what they look like as a social image right now to consider a sacking, to consider a tap on the shoulder to suggest, hey, look, we're 4-7. Is there any possibility of us making anything out of this final, making finals, or any possibility of making 2025 rememberable? No. So the clear cut answer is yes, Ken should walk now. It's beyond anything salvageable, I think, in my opinion. There is no clear cut evidence to suggest that anything could be made of this year. That was simply made in the second halves of this year. When the whips get cracking, Port Adelaide is no more. There used to be a surge, a power surge, a moment where we'd kick 7 or 8 goals in a matter of moments, and all of a sudden we're 5-6 goals up, or we've come back out of nowhere. There was a game last year, even against the Hawks, where all was said and done, and we somehow salvaged a victory. We didn't give up. We give up and this is what is the driving factor behind this whole thing for me. Is Ken Hinkley said when he walked into this football club, we will never ever give up. And right now, that mantra that's been built into this Port Adelaide Football Club has been torn down. There is no more not giving up. We give up every single second that it gets even remotely challenging. The only time I've seen us be challenged and come back is the showdown. We still lost. And whether that was a little moment inside the membranes of our players suggesting, right, well, if we can't come back from this, and then what's the point of coming back at all? As a player in local footy, you do give it away easy. And it's not the right attitude. It's not the right mentality. And that's the mentality of Port right now, of a local football club. And it's hard to take. It really, really is. And right now, I've never been a vocal person to suggest change. It's long overdue now, isn't it? It's become a problem. It's a problematic system, a problematic structure. It just needs a clean. It, you know, a toaster can still work. Just needs a bit of a clean. Get rid of the crumbs at the bottom of the tray, and it's time to just refresh everything. Port Adelaide needs a refresh, and I think, the moment we suggest, all right, Josh Carr's the man, this is your team, this is your club, this is what we need. Fantastic. Even strongly suggestions about Koshi staying away from the football department. Really hone in on these key areas that need to be improved. Recruiting, a big list cull. Now, when I say list culling, I don't suggest going out and getting some extras like we have been for the last 5-6 years, a rebuild on the go. Let's reset. Let's just go, all right, if you're not going to be Miles Bergman, Zach Butters, we want you to commit. You are the key integral part of this football club moving forward under a new banner, a new coach, new everything. We want you, but we want an answer now. And if not, it's time to depart. I don't want that. But if the football club needs to take a stepping point to the direction that is right, then hard decisions are going to have to be made. My personal opinion, do everything you can to keep those players. Do everything you can to sell the farm on what we can do to rebuild this club in an off-season with a new coach, a new mantra, a new feeling around the club. Change is everything that this club needs. It is hanging on to nothing right now. And I know Ken Hinkley's had a successful coaching career in the aspect of his 60% winning rate across his coaching tenure at Port Adelaide. He's won 163 games, 107 losses, never drawn. But it's a successful home and away coaching career, 40% win rate in finals. It is a struggle to take that this club, this playing list that's been overturned so often, has now turned into a 4-7 side at the bye with a tough draw to come for the rest of the year. And we're sitting here scratching our heads a bit because we have no idea what's to come. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think. What do you Port fans feel? And if you're a fan from another club, let me know in the comments as well. I would love to hear your thoughts. My one other thing would be that, and this is another stance that I have a feeling about, and knowing this club so well and being a strong supporter and someone that's very vocal, as I have been on the channel and everything like that, and I just have a funny feeling that the big decisions won't be made, and we'll somehow scrape in a 4 out of the next 5 weeks of winning. We'll all of a sudden be 8-8, and somehow scraping with a percentage continually growing, and somehow in a position where we could make finals. And that's the optimism in me. It has happened plenty of times before. Under Ken Hinkley, we've never been out of contention so early. 2019, it took till round 22 to rule us out. 2015, it was ruled out by round 18, but we won the last 4 games. 2016, we're in with it until the last 3 or 4 rounds. It's never over till it's over, and that's the positive outlook I think you've got to take as a fan. It's never been more enjoyable to have a bye. But in this state right now, we are 180-point loss away from tapping Ken on the shoulder and saying, it's time to go, mate. It's time to hang it up, put the whistle down, and let's say goodbye. Because that game against Melbourne on the Sunday could very well be a farewell game. If you're holding out to West Coast at home, that could be disastrous. And you do not want to lose to West Coast at home and have Ken still coaching, because that'll be disastrous. Port Adelaide need to make a decision before that. And that's my stance. Because bad things happen to things that stay long enough in the cupboard. There you have it. That's my mid-season review / stance on the Ken Hinkley situation. To sum it all up, I would say simply it's time to tap Ken on the shoulder and say, move on, mate. We need Josh Carr to step in and let's showcase what we can do. Collingwood did it to Nathan Buckley a few years back against Melbourne, and they fought it out to the end, but he walked away and parted ways, and that was that. And I think a mutual, respectable, clean clear out of Ken is the best situation here for Port Adelaide. And if it doesn't occur, then it's going to get messy. And the other side of that is, if it doesn't occur and they hold out for so long and somehow still make the 8, then, well, we will be eating our words. But yeah, there's a long way to go. I don't know how long Ken has left, but we'll see. But thank you very much for watching my video. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new for plenty more Port Adelaide content to come your way across the second half of the year. We'll be riding it right till the end, Port fans. Don't worry about that. We're there till the end. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Anthony, and as always, can't the pair.